Hello, we are from Bharat News TV Prime and BollywoodHollywoodWorld.com. Today we are with famous personality Mr. Mikal Thau. He is an American filmmaker, editor, producer and writer too. Hello sir.
Hi.
So please tell us about your experience for being a filmmaker and which films you have made.
Oh, well, I've made a number of short films, and right now I have a film in the Jaipur Film Festival, and it's called Violet is Blue, A Tale of Gibbons and Guardians, and I produced and edited and wrote that, but I also do some directing sometimes as well too, and I've directed some short films. But the majority of my career, I worked on rather large pictures in Hollywood, especially for a very famous film director named Richard Donner. And he has done some films as Superman in 1978, Superman 2, all the Lethal Weapon films, Scrooged, The Goonies, The Omen, and I've worked on a number of his later films directly for him on those films. Some of them were before my time.
Who is your inspiration?
Well, Richard Donner, but I do like Christopher Nolan. I do like Steven Spielberg. I guess directors are more my inspiration rather than.
One of your film has won Saturn Award. So tell about the Saturn Award and which film has won it.
Yes. It was a from ground up re-edit of Superman 2, which came out in 1981. Yes, 81. And the Superman 1, Superman 2 films were the first films to be scheduled and shot at the same time. Now they do that a lot with films. But when they realized they were not going to finish the first Superman in time to get it to the theaters, they stopped shooting the remaining scenes for Superman 2. So Mr. Donner had shot about 75% of the script on Superman 2. And after Superman 1 came out and it was a big success, the producers realized that Marlon Brando, the deal that they made with him, they were giving away all the profits to Marlon Brando, and the producers weren't making any money. So they had shot, and Dick had shot material with Marlon Brando for Superman 2, but they announced that they were not going to use any of this material, and they were going to rewrite the script so that they wouldn't have to have him in the second film, and then they wouldn't have to pay him any money. And Richard Donner got really mad, and there was this big fight, and they decided to hire a different director. And when Superman 2 came out with the second director, his name was Richard Lester, when that second film came out, instead of 75% of Richard Donner's material, which he shot, there was 35% left in the film. Mm-hmm. And for 30 years, film fans, especially when the internet came about, started writing Richard Donner that they wanted to see his cut of Superman 2, and so I was hired by Warner Brothers to reinstate all his footage. So instead of 35%, when we made the film Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, there was 80% of his footage, and that's what we won the Saturn Award for. And that's available. You can buy it, at least in the United States, on Amazon. Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, and it's from a filmmaking point of view, it's a direct connection from the first film into the second one. And the way the film came out in 81, there was really no connection. It wasn't one long story. Now it has been returned to one long story.
Your one film, Violet is Blue, is going to screen tomorrow in Aryan International Film Festival.
Yes.
So how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm very happy to be here in Jaipur and India, and I can't wait to see the reception. I understand that there's going to be maybe 300 high school students, I think, that are going to watch it, and that'll be very interesting to see from their point of view, and to see, how much they can understand, because it's in English. I know they speak English, but we have one main character that is from Hungary, and she has a very thick English accent. So hopefully they'll be able to understand what she says, because it's mostly her story. But as far as awards go, Violet is Blue has won many awards already, and we only released it in April, and today is the end of August, so it's only been out.
Sir, do you have any suggestions for the youngsters who are coming this field, who are coming to make new films with new ideas?
Well, first of all, I love being called sir, and and second of all, it's really much easier nowadays to make any kind of film than it was way back when we had to actually shoot it on film. So trial and error, learn editing. I think that's one of the most important things for a filmmaker is learning what you're going to have when you go in the editing room after the film is finished. Steven Spielberg has a famous quote saying that he shoots his films so that he can have the maximum flexibility in the editing room to create every scene differently. I mean, he can do it, his films, you could cut it in many different ways, but he has the flexibility to do that. So keep trying. Do it again and again and again. Study writing. Make sure that your photography is good. Make sure your sound is good. Make sure your sound is good. And don't give up.
Tell about your experience in India. How you are feeling?
I've only been here a couple days, so
do you have any visit here in Jaipur?
I've never been here before.
Okay.
This was a whirlwind trip. Only found out about our film being selected to be in this film festival 2.5 weeks ago. I had to make arrangements and travel literally halfway around the world to come to this, but I really wanted to because I thought it would be just fascinating to be in India.
Okay. Thank you, sir.